ritual is you know what I'm talking about. There you go, that's our website that we work with. Now, I said I'm going to do a lot of reading and things, but I wanted to obviously put something on here. So what I'm going to do is, as well as just doing tarot readings, obviously we want to bring you as much information about tarot and tarot reading and psychic development and all those things as we can. So what I'm going to do is, first off, give you a little video that is part of one of our courses on Hedge Witchery Tarot. Hedge Witchery Tarot is a sort of member site which you can join either for free or you can go for full membership. If you go for full membership, you can get access to all of our online courses. There's 2 on there a minute. The third one's about to go ahead. But one of them that is on the Tarot Part 1, teaching people how to use the major arcana of the tarot deck.
Make sure it's a 78 card deck and it's something tarot, and you'll be on the right lines. Beyond that, it really is, and this, you know, there's no big mystical answer to this. It's which, well, it kind of is mystical, but your initial response to it probably be. It is basically whatever cards you like the look of. You know, these are going to be a tool you work with a lot. You know, especially for me, I work with them blinking all the time. And granted, I do own a few decks, quite a few decks, so I can switch between them a lot. But saying that, for the amount of decks I use, there are certain decks that I will use all the time just because I really love the imagery on the decks and I can work with them over others. So yeah, the main rule is make sure you are buying a tarot deck, a 78 card tarot deck based on the major and minor cards. And beyond that, it is, you know, whatever imagery speaks out to you the most. There are tarot decks based on everything now. I seen a steampunk tarot the other day. It looked so pretty. But everything: fairies, mermaids, cats, vampires. Like literally think of a topic, and there will be a tarot card or a tarot deck made based on that topic. So there is a huge, huge market. Sometimes, and this is advice I give out quite often, people are like, I really don't know, I just can't pick a deck, I don't know where to start. In which case my advice would be always go with one of the really, really well-known traditional decks. The Rider-Waite is a really well-known one. The traditional cards, the only thing with them is sometimes the imagery is harder to work with. I have a Marcel's deck, which I use quite a lot, which is this one that I'm going to show you. And this deck, just go through the cards here. As you can see, this is based on very, very old artwork. And I quite like that. I quite like the traditional artwork, and I do use this deck a lot. So as you can see there, you have, you know, very traditional imagery. You know, this is one of the original decks. And, you know, this was designed hundreds of years ago. Tarot readers still use it. You know, this is one of my favourites. I've actually got my 2 favourite ones here. In contrast to that, there's this deck which I work with a lot as well. As you can see straight up there, this is a completely different look to this deck. It's very modern, it's very stylized. You know, the imagery in it is totally different. but it's just one that I connect really well with. I really like the imagery on it. I can take a lot from it. And yeah, so let's say two completely different, totally at different ends of the spectrum there. But both, you know, I like them both. I can work with them both as well as the other. What I would say is good about they both have their pros and cons. The traditional decks are good because all the more modern decks are based on them. So if you learn a traditional deck, moving on to a modern one will probably come very easily to you. The modern ones tend to have more imagery in them, and this is a really important factor, which is again why I said pick imagery based on something you connect with. We're going to go into this in more detail when we go into the card meanings, but basically every time you look at a card, you know, depending on who you're reading for, what the question is, you know, it could even be the same question posed by the same person in two different time frames. You will get a slightly different meaning from the card, and that's just building up your intuition, your, you know, psychic development skills. It comes with time. It's not something that you will start doing straight away, but eventually every time you turn a card, it will mean something different than the last time you saw it. And for me, because I'm quite a visual person, that comes through in the imagery of the card. Something about it will stand out, and I will make a connection to that, and that image will represent something for me. You know, I'm just kind of looking through the deck here. You know, like here, you know, on the moon card, we have the moon traditionally means, you know, trusting intuition, and not thinking too much about logic. But occasionally I've had this card up, and the mask that you can see there has really stood out to me. And it's not just about trusting their intuition, it's about trusting their intuition when something is being disguised or hidden from them.
There you go. It's one of our videos. I said tonight I'm not going to do any readings, but I am going to do one very small one. I owe someone who I do a lot of readings for, who's been going through a little bit of a difficult situation, a reading, because I promised I would do one for her. But I've been running quite busy, so I haven't had a chance. She does want to book an appointment with me to get a full reading, but just so she's got a little one to be going on with, I'm going to do her a 3-card reading. I'm not going to say her name, but she probably know who she is. I will message her after this, purely because she messaged me a few days ago. We were chatting about this, and I've read for her regarding this fairly recently. So I'm going to do a little spread called a weaker moon in a season, which gives us a little 3-card look at how a situation is going to progress over the next week, the next month, and the next 3 months. Wow, okay, I've got 3 sword cards come straight out here. That's quite unusual. Swords they're the air suit, so they're all about looking forward to the future, inspiration, communication, new ideas, that kind of theme running through them. Now, the initial one I've got is the 3 of Swords. So this shows that over the next week, and I've got it inverted, this is telling me that over the next week things aren't going to go how you planned them. They weren't going to go as you envisaged. You kind of built up a little picture in your head of how it was going to play out. It was very well. You're successful to a point. You're getting there. You're taking good steps forward. It's not exactly where you want to be, but you're getting there, you know, and that's a good thing. You know, yes, I'd love to say everything's going to be fixed and great and exactly the way you want it, but that wouldn't be true. But what I can tell you is, you know, it's after an initial disappointment in the next sort of, or by the next, you know, things things will be a bit unstable, but you'll start to see changes. There's going to be new ideas coming in that make those changes happen, even though it throws things up in the air. Any change is a good change at this point, and that's what you'll see over the next month. Longer term, over the next 3 months, progress. Not exactly where you want to be, but progress. Real progress that you can kind of stand behind. So that's, and swords as well, you know, they're like I say, with them being an air card, is this kind of inspiration, this truth, this looking forward, but it's very idea based. So embrace any sort of new ideas of tackling this, even if it's something that's a little bit, what on earth are they thinking? Are we sure this is going to work? It's right now where innovation is the key to making this situation go the way you want it. Okay, sweetie, I'll mess you after this. You probably guessed who you are, but if you haven't, I'll mess with you. Okay. Now, I did say that this stream wasn't just going to be me whittling away about stuff, or just doing readings. It's going to be about tarot information and psychic development information and just anything and everything about tarot, because I love tarot. But it is also just not going to be me. Hopefully we are going to be adding more readers to the Hedge Witchery Tarot team soon. We're going to be doing that in a number of ways. We've got some exciting announcements coming up. But not yet. But they are coming up in the future, I promise. What I would say though is there is a lot of information.
This is justice. This is the Hermit. This is the Wheel, or also known as the Wheel of Fortune, but this deck just refers to it as the Wheel. This is Strength, which by the way is numbered number 11 in this deck, and Justice is numbered number 8. This is the Hanged Man. This is Death. This is Temperance. This is Devil. This is the Tower. This is the Star. This is the Moon. I wish you could see the quality of these person, because this just do them justice. This is the Sun. This is Judgment. And again, it's really hard. This is the Ace of Cups. This is the Two of Cups. This is the Three of Cups. This is the Four of Cups. the Five of Cups. The cardstock is very slippery on this deck. Very slippery. The Six of Cups. But it's also very durable. The Seven of Cups. A lot of the little details are not and underestimated. That's my kitten in the background who's playing. I think he's going to be in the sound effects. The Eight of Cups. The Nine of Cups. The Ten of Cups. The Page of Cups. And I think rather than go through all the suits, because I don't know if I'll be able to have a video that long.
Sorry about that. We've seen
Here is the Ace of Discs, as it's called. Just try to give you a brief glimpse. We're into the swords now. I'm sorry, we're into the wands. Now these are the swords. That's a really nice one. And those are all the cards. So overall, it's a really nice deck. It comes with a little white booklet, 2 extra title cards, and here is the box. Just a very simple box. The extra 2 title cards. Overall, I highly recommend this deck. It's a very nice deck, a very readable deck, and I'm very, very happy I purchased it. I love the artwork. I think it's very symbolic, and anyone who likes dark or goth decks, I think will be very happy with this purchase. It's a very good one by Lo Scarabeo, and I'm very, very pleased with this deck. So enjoy it. Thank you. Hello everyone, this is my review of the lovely Dark Angels Tarot by Lo Scarabeo. I'm just going to show you some of the cards. I think they're beautiful. This is the Fool.
There you go. Now, obviously we want to have as varied views as possible on here. So if you create videos for social media or share online, or if you know someone who does and you'd like to recommend the videos, please get in touch with us because we'd love to hear from you. Just something Facebook, because we want as many content creators as possible to feature on the show. Okay, like as I said,